Hello viewers, in today's video I will talk about my thoughts about MBBS students and how my opinion about MBBS students has evolved over the years. So we will divide this discussion into some phases. The first phase is before I became a medical student, which we will describe as the pre-2008 phase. The next phase will be the phase when I was an MBBS student from 2008 till I would say 2015, because I would include the 1 year of non-academic junior residency as well. And the next phase was the 1 year of preparation that I had devoted towards while preparing for postgraduate entrance exams from 2015 to 2016. Next up would be the post-graduation phase from 2016 to 2019. Then the senior residency phase from 2019 to 2022, and finally as assistant professor 2022 onwards. So my perspective has changed, and so has my opinion about MBBS students, and I hope you will enjoy watching this video. Before 2008, that is before I became an MBBS student myself, I used to consider MBBS students as superheroes. And rightly so, because in order to become an MBBS student, one had to study a lot to be able to get a good rank in the MBBS entrance exams. Back in 2008, there were plenty of MBBS entrance exams. There were state-specific entrance exams. There was the All India pre-medical test. There were institute-specific exams as well, university-specific exams. There were many exams, and all exams were extremely competitive. So the exam was very difficult. One had to study a lot to get a good rank in those exams, which is probably true even now. And once people were able to get entry into a medical college, life only became tougher. One had to study much more. One had to study a lot to get into a medical college, and then one would have to study a lot more to pass MBBS. So whenever I would meet an MBBS student, I did not know anyone personally, but I did get an opportunity to meet a few. As I remember, I was in a school and two students had come to that school to visit their alma mater, and they were sharing stories about medical college. And while watching them share their experience of being medical students, being MBBS students, I was in awe. I used to think these people must be superheroes, because not only were they able to get into a medical college, I think they were in AIMS if I remember correctly, they were also so casual about how they were studying all the time, and they were able to cope up with the pressure, academic pressure. So I was in awe of them, and till 2008, till the point I became an MBBS student, I genuinely believed that MBBS students possessed superhuman abilities. Now let's look at the transition of my opinion when I became an MBBS student myself in 2008. In August of 2008, I became an MBBS student. That is 16 years back. And I was overjoyed. I was thrilled to join the ranks of people who seemingly possess superhuman abilities. And to be really honest, for a while I also started thinking that maybe I was a superhero also. But all of these delusions of grandeur, or these feelings of being too good, went away immediately during the first anatomy lecture, where the then head of department in anatomy made it very clear to us that it is very difficult to get into a medical college. It is very difficult once you get into a medical college. It's very difficult to pass out of a medical college, and it becomes very difficult once you leave a medical college as well. So at every step of the way, difficulty levels will be encountered, and maybe the difficulty levels will keep rising with the next step. So of course I was disabused of any sense of superiority very, very soon. But the thing that I really noticed is most people appeared to be normal. The other MBBS students, I had thought MBBS students possessed superhuman abilities, but once I became an MBBS student myself, I noticed, at least in our batch, my friends, all of them were quite normal. I did not see anything superhuman about them. And so again, my opinion changed. I no longer thought of MBBS students as superhuman, but I did notice something, that we had started dividing ourselves into different categories. Most importantly, we started thinking that we are MBBS students, so we are different from other students. That was the first division. Then even within MBBS students, there were divisions like the more studious people, the less studious ones, the ones who stayed in hostel, the ones who attended classes from home, and there were political differences as well based on your political beliefs. So all kinds of differences, all kinds of divisions were encountered, and this lack of unity really made me sad. So my opinion about MBBS students when I was an MBBS student throughout the period from 2008 till the end of my non-academic junior residency in 2015 was that we were a sad divided lot. So from thinking that MBBS students possess superhuman abilities, I started thinking that MBBS students are too divided. There's too much of rancor, lack of unity. All of that really did make me sad about it. So that was my opinion about MBBS students when I was an MBBS student myself. Now let's move on to my opinion about MBBS students when I was preparing for postgraduate entrance exams. When I started preparing seriously for postgraduate entrance exams in 2015, at the end of my non-academic junior residency, I was staying alone. I was staying away from the medical college, and I was preparing for postgraduate entrance exams, which required a lot of concentration. And I also used to attend classroom coaching during the weekends. And during these classes, I would run into some of my MBBS friends. But what I really felt about MBBS students when I was preparing for postgraduate entrance exams is I missed the camaraderie. Now, I know I said that while I was an MBBS student, I felt we were too divided. But once I ceased to be an MBBS student, I missed whatever little camaraderie existed even after all those divisions. So we had our own group of friends, and I missed that camaraderie a lot during postgraduate entrance exam preparations. So during preparing for postgraduate entrance exams, my opinion about MBBS students was I missed the camaraderie. I missed them a lot. I missed being an MBBS student, and of course that can never happen again. And then I moved on to becoming a postgraduate student myself, and during post-graduation, my opinion about MBBS students again evolved. So let's now look at what I thought about MBBS students when I was a postgraduate student from 2016 till 2019. So from 2016 to 2019, I was a postgraduate student, and during my post-graduation, I did have a lot of interactions with MBBS students, especially interns. And the overarching feeling or the overarching opinion I had about MBBS students during my post-graduation was one of unlimited envy. I used to envy the MBBS students immeasurably because I would look at them and I would see a bunch of people who had unlimited opportunities available to them. Their life held a lot of promise. They were all very bright students. Most of them that I encountered were incredibly bright, much brighter than I was when I was an MBBS student, and all of them were more intellectually gifted than me. I can say that safely. So I was envious of them, to be really honest. The only feeling I had for MBBS students when I was a postgraduate student was one of envy. Because not only did I envy their lifestyle, which was they were able to strike this brilliant balance between studying and having fun, but also I envied the fact that they had seemingly the entire world available to them in terms of opportunities. Some of them wanted to move abroad, and some of them did move to countries far from India, and they are all doing really well right now. And some, of course, moved to very prestigious institutes in India to pursue post-graduation themselves. So I was in awe of them, and I was also deeply envious of them. Now let's talk about my opinion about MBBS students during my senior residency. That is from 2019 to 2022. During my senior residency from 2019 to 2022, a 3-year period, I had very little interaction, practically no interaction with MBBS students. So I did not really think about MBBS students. They largely underwent a phenomenon known as out of sight, out of mind. So I did not have any opinion about MBBS students during these 3 years of my life. Later on, when I joined a medical college, once again in 2022, my opinion about MBBS students evolved further. From envy, I've reached a different stage. Let's look at that. My opinion about MBBS students 2022 till present day. So in November of 2022, I joined a medical college as assistant professor, and I had the great privilege of teaching MBBS students. And I have been teaching MBBS students ever since. And my opinion about MBBS students right now or since 2022 has been one of deep respect. Because now I notice how difficult it is for MBBS students to prepare so many subjects, and they do it without any complaint. They do it all the time. They're preparing for so many subjects, they are studying so much, and they are all doing it with a smile on their face. So now I only have respect and awe of medical students. So my opinion of MBBS students has evolved over the years from thinking that they are superheroes to thinking that they are a sad divided lot. When I was an MBBS student, I used to think we are a sad divided lot, then missing the camaraderie, then being envious of MBBS students, and now respecting them, and once again I am in awe of MBBS students. So this has been my the evolution of my thoughts about MBBS students, and I hope you liked watching this video. Thank you for watching this.